trae todo lo que necesites, todo lo que no también. Cosas que siempre has querido en precios bajos de Amazon. Todo lo que está en descuento, si eres bueno y no también. Cosas de la abuela que se toma el chardonnay con hielo. Cosas que te nutrirán y no podemos mencionar. Cosas del jardín y más. Ahora en grande en Amazon. Cosas.
Discover new music now. 94.1 JJO.
For my money, one of the best Patrick Bateman lookalikes out there. I think when you see the video, we'll reference that. A guy who's been at it on the scene for quite some time, really breaking through now with their latest album, The Silver Scream 2, Welcome to Horrorwood. Spencer from Ice Nine Kills. Spencer, how are you, bud?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just over here sharpening my axe, putting on my Bateman raincoat, and ready to rock, you know?
So it's fun. And obviously a lot of people, they've heard Rainy Day on JJO and checking out that music video. My God, that was spot on. Did you do a lot of research to really channel the Patrick Bateman? Because it was so good. I was convinced it was really him on the screen there.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. I actually needed no rehearsal because I've been such a fan of that movie since it came out, 22 years ago, that I've been practicing that dialogue my whole life. So I just kind of got up there, put on the suit, slicked back the hair, put on some facial moisturizers with little or no alcohol.
Of course.
And just hit it. It was so much fun to do.
You are the only one I think can say that you got to swing an axe at Jacoby from Papa Roach's head. I mean, that's an honor right there.
It was amazing, but we really cut his life into pieces, is what I say, with that axe.
There's a dad joke. Great. He's one of the nicest guys. I'm sure he took it all in stride. Of course.
Absolutely. We had just done a tour really right before the pandemic, hit with Papa Roach in Europe. And that was the first time we ever met him. And we really buddied up with him. He's such a nice dude. And when it came time to figure out, who's going to play Paul Allen, I was like, it's got to be Jacoby. We just toured with him. He's got such a great voice and such a great sense of humor, and it worked out great. And he killed it on the record, and he killed it in the video, and then I killed him.
It's so cool. It's super unique and a fun take on a cinematic classic along with this song. To have an album out in the craziness that has been the last couple of years, you guys released The Silver Scream 2, Welcome to Horrorwood. For the band, getting this together, kind of tell us about that process.
We were one of the lucky bands in the sense that when the pandemic really hit, we were pretty much done with our album cycle. It had been out for, at that point, I want to say 2 years. And the plan was, after this next tour, we were actually supposed to go out with Five Finger Death Punch in the US, which was going to be great. After that next tour, nose to the grindstone and really get an album written, because we only had maybe one song, and I had some ideas, but nothing really put to tape, so to speak. And a couple of the guys ended up moving to LA really soon into the pandemic. And we basically, made it our job that we're working on this record for the next whatever, till they tell us we could get back out there and tour. And it was honestly a really fun process. I'd wake up in the morning, have my coffee, sit down with an acoustic guitar, come up with some melodies or some lyrics, head on over to the other guy's spot and, spend hours there working on the material. And we did that, I want to say like 4 times a week all together. It turned out to be, I think, our best album. So as tragic and crappy as the pandemic was, it did really give us the most time we've ever had to sort of refine the material and just really, really focus on making it great.
It kind of gave everyone a chance to slow down. As an artist, does that kind of feel nice to maybe take that breath and focus a little bit more, or at least feel like you can?
Absolutely, man. It was just one of those things where it was less stressful because, as you said, when you're a musician, you're on tour, then you're off tour for just a little bit, maybe a couple weeks at a time, maybe a month and a half if you're lucky. this is the most time I've ever spent on the road since I, started being a touring musician. Yeah. So it really alleviated that sort of time crunch on getting the stuff done. We're very fortunate that, the guy that produced this record, that produced the Silver Scream 1, he lives right down the street, or his studio is right down the street, Drew Falk. We were able to not only, write the material and then take it to him, but we didn't have to say, hey, we need to book a month of studio time and we need to record it all right in a month. Some bands fly into LA if they're not from LA to work with a producer. We got to finish this record in a month, usually. This we did let's book 2 weeks at a time. Let's do a month here. Let's do a week here. And it was just this really comfortable, no pressured experience. And it's the most fun I've ever had making a record. So if anything good came out of the pandemic, it was that. And
do you think you can maybe hear a little bit of that stress-freeness in the final product?
Obviously I'm biased because I'm in the band, but I think that this is the best stuff we've done. And I think it comes from having that time to really hone in on the product. But I think we really made it eclectic. No two songs really sound like each other. We really wanted to differentiate each track and really pay tribute to those movies, not only with the chord progressions, but the sound design, the orchestration. We really wanted to make it feel like these are not just, 13 songs, but 13 movies.
Discover new music now. 94.1 JJO.
Spencer from Ice Nine Kills. This record is inspired by the horror film genre and something that obviously you guys are passionate about.
Yeah, my first two loves when I was a kid, little kid, 6, 7, were music and horror movies. And for whatever reason, it wasn't like some older sibling or a friend in the schoolyard was like, hey, you got to watch this stuff. I just gravitated towards it very organically, just being in the video stores when they used to have Blockbusters and other mom and pop VHS shops. And I always just wanted to go into that aisle that said horror. I think there was something forbidden about it. There's something dangerous about it. The cover art was really scary and violent. And for whatever reason, I was like, this is bad ass, man. And my parents were very cool and let me watch. Halloween was the first one I ever saw. And from there, it was just I want to see every Friday the 13th. I want to see Creep Show. And then Scream came out. And that was the first one that I was ever allowed to see in the theater. I was 11 when Scream came out. And, the new one just came out. It was amazing. Splashing at the box office. And I just remember being in that theater in 1996. And I was just glued to the screen because Scream was the first one where the characters knew horror movies. So the killer in the first scene is talking about Michael Myers and Jason and Freddy. And I turned to my cousin while we were watching that first scene in the theater. I was like, dude, this is going to be my favorite movie of all time. Holy hell. And from then on, it was just a lifelong obsession.
And we see that now with the new album, The Silver Scream 2, Welcome to Horrorwood, where you bring two passions together. And let's say your favorite horror movie character comes to real life. He comes to you and says, hey, Spencer, play me your favorite song on this album. If you could only play me one song on your new album, which one are you going to pick?
I really do love the whole album, but it sort of changes every day. If you asked me yesterday, it might be a different song, or in 2 weeks. But I really love the song we did about Psycho, the original Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock's. It's called The Shower Scene. For me, and I think, film historians can agree that without Psycho, these slasher movies that I love, the other songs on the album, a lot of them wouldn't exist without Hitchcock in that first movie. So I'm going to go with The Shower Scene. It's one of my favorites on the album. one of the biggest courses, and you better believe we recreated that shower scene, the actual shower scene within the song. It sort of acts as the bridge. Yeah, it's just been really reacting live, and maybe it'll be a radio single soon. We'll see.
And fun fact, I don't know if you know this, Psycho is the first movie or first cinematic thing to show a flushing toilet.
I remember hearing that, but I forgot that fact. That's so funny, right? That was like forbidden. To see it flushing.
We've come a long way. When toilets used to be the worst thing, and then it goes into a murder scene, they're like, I think more people were shocked about the toilet than they were about the murder.
That is so funny, man. Yeah, we've come a long way.
Folks can get the record now. If you haven't yet, I recommend you do it. Obviously, you can hear it on the radio all over the place. Check out the amazing music videos. It's always, I'm sure, interesting for you on stage as the frontman up there and kind of seeing it for the whole band and fans reacting to the new stuff. Ever get tired of watching the eyes light up when you got a new song on there and people singing those new lyrics and everything like that, the stuff that you've worked so hard on?
No, man, that's like the best feeling in the world. When you're starting the band, and when we started the band when we were super young in high school and touring through the college years and stuff, the whole thing was like, man, do you think anyone's going to know the words tonight, or will anyone be singing along? And it was such a big deal, when you would play your hometown, because you'd actually hear the words coming back, and and then it starts to grow, and when you tour, maybe this market, now New York is singing. So to be at a point where pretty much every show we play in the world, people are, die hard and screaming the lyrics back. It's a feeling that you don't ever forget.
I love it, man. I'm convinced that's why when you see stories like, oh, the Stones are going on their 86 tour, it's like, what are you doing? You guys are in your late 70s. You don't have anything to prove. I'm sure it's just that adrenaline rush, that drug of hearing your lyrics back on stage. Yeah, man, it's awesome and inspiring to see those bands like the Stones still doing it in their 70s or however old they are. So hopefully we survive to that point. Again, the Silver Scream 2, Welcome to Horrorwood, out now. Rainy Day, heard on JJO. More to come. Great music videos that you can check out. Just a lot of fun. Very unique from Ice Nine Kills, and then a big tour on the way as well. If people want to get hooked up, man, where do they find out more about Ice Nine Kills?
Ice9kills.com. We've got a ton of new merchandise coming. And, follow us on the gram, Ice9Kills. Follow us on Twitter, Ice9Kills, just spelled out. And you'll be sure there's some very exciting stuff coming. We've got some awesome surprises coming for Valentine's Day. So check that out. It's going to be a good 2022.
The Silver Scream 2, Welcome to Horrorwood. Amazing. The latest album from Ice Nine Kills. Tour on the way, playing with Metallica, fun stuff. It's going to be a great 2022. And Spencer, I really do appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me anytime.
Discover new music with me, Brock, anytime on the homepage of WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcast. The JJO Discover New Music Podcast. Listen, rate, share, and subscribe.
See care in a new light at Madonna Rehabilitation Hospitals, where top medical minds lift you up. Where the very best in specialized rehabilitation brings out your very best. Where over 60 years of breakthroughs in research and technology spark your newfound strength. In our world-class hospitals, this is something greater than rehabilitation. It's renewed strength for life. Learn more at MadonnaRehab.org.